Hey, what's going on, everybody? It is, well, depending on what time zone you're in, it is either Christmas Eve or Christmas morning, very early Christmas morning. But these were the last figures that I had to unbox to sort of clear the decks, as it were, before my Christmas haul. Um, and despite the fact that every time I sort of put these up to ask people what they wanted me to open, nobody wanted me to open these. I really wanted to open them. I'm really excited about these figures. These are fantastic looking figures. These are the SH Figuarts Dragon Ball Super Super Saiyan God Son Goku, as well as the Beerus. Now these are event exclusive color editions. That being said, I don't have the normal color editions of either of those, or of either of these. Um, the god version of the Super Saiyan for Goku has, of course, the sort of red hair, and in this case, it's translucent. The event exclusive colorway for Beerus is just a re-release, really, of the version that we got a little bit earlier, or that was released earlier. I didn't get it, obviously, which is why I've got these ones now. But I'm really excited to get these open. I'm really excited about these figures. Um, the weird thing is that a lot of the collectors that I talk to and that I sort of chat with and interact with aren't necessarily the import collectors. So a lot of guys do, Legends and Black Series and GI Joe Classified and Transformers and so on and so forth. Dragon Ball has always sort of held a very special place in my heart. It was sort of my entry point for anime. It was my entry point to sort of Japanese stuff. The Japanese language, so on and so forth. While I was sort of prepping, I actually noticed that they listed the names on here in Japanese as well, and I was just reading those, and just feeling kind of nostalgic and feeling kind of you know I don't know. I'm, feeling festive, feeling a certain kind of way, and I'm just really excited to get these figures open, and I'm happy to have a couple of you guys hanging out here with me. Immortan Jojo, happy holidays, good sir, to you too. Samrock, what is going on, my friends? Hopefully, you guys are having a lovely evening slash morning. Or midday, depending on where you are. I don't know where everybody's watching from, but if you want, let me know where you're watching from, what time zone you're in, whether you're sort of looking at late night, early morning, or whatever. Um, but while you guys do that, why don't we just get into these figures? Um, Goku is sort of always a favorite, so I'm gonna open the Beerus first. Um, just cause. Just such a cool, unique, design. These boxes are great. So these event exclusive boxes, they do these really cool sort of silhouette, single color artwork on them. Beerus with the blue, the Son Goku with the sort of it's almost like a magenta, like almost a neon, kind of to match his hair and such. And then on the back, you get sort of a few different pictures depicting some of the different faces that you get as options, some of the different hands, so on and so forth. SH Figuarts, simple style and heroic action. We get the English, we get the Japanese, we get a little bit of legalese on there. We'll take a look at this packaging as well, and then we'll just get right into it. Like I said, just really, really vibrant colorway on the packaging here. The I don't know that it pops as much, on the camera as it does in hand. But again, you get some pictures of the different face sculpts, the different hands, so on and so forth that you get with these figures. Really nice small boxes, which is the first time you get an SH Figuarts figure in hand. Um, there's like a weird like there's a weird feeling of like, oh, that's it, because they tend to be pricier figures. And these boxes are small. Now I've hold on, just as a reference. just as a reference, because I happen to have it next to my desk here. I have a G.I. Joe Classified Crimson Guard, but just to look at the size of the packaging. Now, these are both effectively a 6-inch scaled figure, but you can see that the package for the Cobra Crimson Guard is like another 1.5 inches, maybe even 2 inches taller than this. I don't know, just interesting. Interesting that the Japanese packaging, they just don't feel obligated to sort of have a giant package for a product. Everything's packed in there nice and comfortably. You know, it doesn't feel like it's jammed in there. But you don't have any extra space as well. So let me just pop. Let me just start by popping Beerus out. Now, if you've never seen Dragon Ball Super, you may have no idea who these figures are, who these characters are, and that's okay. I'll forgive you for that. But if you're so inclined, check it out. It's pretty fun. Sam Rock says it's 12:40, so Sam is on the East Coast. Well, welcome. Very, very happy to have you. Brick says yes, in time for the Dragon Ball action. Merry Christmas, homie. Merry Christmas to you, my friend, and I'm happy you could make it, because you did mention that you were kind of excited to see these get unboxed, as was I, and nobody else. But anyway. Sorry, before I take this out, I should have mentioned this. For anybody that's sort of not familiar with SH Figuarts, you get sort of a 2-piece plastic insert, and the upper part is kind of clipped in almost. They have these little indents. There's 4, one in each corner, and you just pop it off, and it pops off easily. And then everything that's in the tray, I can't turn it upright, because everything that's in the tray is just sort of placed in there in such a way that it all just falls right out. So, like, how great is that? Because you don't have to kind of monkey with things. These are figures that I can actually open late at night as my kids fall asleep without any danger of waking them up when I open these, because they don't make noise, because you just pop it all right out. But they're absolutely fantastic figures. He doesn't want to stand up. I will show this before they come with all these little plastic inserts. So anywhere where there's potentially going to be paint rub in the packaging, you'll get these little clear plastic inserts, and they all have these little tabs. I don't know if you can kind of see it. You sort of see how that sort of comes off there. If you pull along the tab and kind of just wiggle it out, I'd say, like, it should be super easy. They just pop right out, and then away you go. But the beauty part about that is that you typically don't get some of the QC issues that you do with some of the other bigger brands that don't do clever little things like that. Brick says, I love the design of Beerus. Yeah, and you know what is funny is that I got into Dragon Ball in general very, very early. For anybody that sort of hasn't heard the story before, I am opening these, and it's late on Christmas Eve, so I'm going to say it anyway, even if you've heard it, whether you want to hear it again or not. I get into Dragon Ball when I was in elementary school, like long time ago. I had a friend whose parents were Japanese, like first generation Japanese. So their family still lived in Japan. They would send VHS cassettes of Dragon Ball Z, which was the sort of current show at that time. And we would watch these bootlegged VHS recorded copies of Dragon Ball Z. We didn't know who the characters were. We didn't know the plot line. We didn't know what was going on, but we just absolutely loved it. Every once in a while, when his mom wasn't too busy, she would kind of pop her head in and like translate 5 minutes of an episode for us, and we would get sort of the gist of what was going on. It was like, and it was a revelation, because it was totally different than any cartoon that I'd ever seen. you know, we would have this cassette of like, 4 hours of recorded episodes, and they're about 20 minutes per episode, 25 minutes per episode, whatever it is. And so you get like 5, 6, 7, 8 episodes, and it would be like one epic battle. Um, the Frieza saga was like the first thing that I ever saw. And if you're familiar with that, it feels like it goes on forever. But when I was like an 11 or 12-year-old kid, I loved that it went on forever. I was just like over the moon. I only got into Dragon Ball Super very recently, and Dragon Ball Super is where they sort of introduced Beerus. Um, from my understanding, actually, I think they did a movie with Beerus, but that's when sort of Beerus becomes a pretty main character is in Super. And so initially, like my impression of this, you know, Sphinxian kind of Egyptian looking, god of destruction, as it were, didn't really land with me. But then the more I watched of Dragon Ball Super, the more I absolutely loved, this kind of spindly, lanky cat guy who alternates between eating, napping, and effectively just destroying planets on a whim. Um, and the design, I just love the design now. I love that he's sort of got that Egyptian look about him. Now, first impressions of this figure from the front looks absolutely stunning. From the back, he's got these really janky knees. There's nothing behind the knee at all, which is kind of ridiculous, and it just kind of looks funny. I don't know if that's to get the articulation that they want. They had to sort of sacrifice some of the aesthetics. But to be honest, I've said this before and I'll say it again. I don't get too hung up on stuff like this. 99% of the time, you're going to see this angle of Beerus. And if you don't see this angle of Beerus, it might be the side. Why would I have him on my shelf backwards? So I'm not really that upset about it. It does look weird and it does look funny. And when we get to Goku, we'll compare the back of the knees, because this is the only Figuarts that I have that looks this weird from the back. And I don't know. It's just because the way they've engineered the knees. Some of the knees on the other figures are kind of like a three-piece knee. This is sort of two pieces, like the top thigh piece and then the lower bit. Whereas a lot of them, there's a piece in the knee to kind of tidy that joint up. Yeah, it's kind of weird, but as I said, I can live with it. I'm not that bothered. It just looks weird. It's odd. So many other figures are so well engineered, but I really love that design, and I was really excited to get Beerus. I knew about that issue before I even ordered the figure, and I ordered it anyway. I didn't care. Mortan Jojo says, I'm always stoked for Dragon Ball Z. Tyler has a bunch. It's Kelly. Hey, Kelly. Kelly, you're on the island. Um, and very happy that you guys finally got snow, despite what everybody else thinks. Brick says, no endless twist ties. Must be nice. It is, man. I'm telling you, it's such a breath of fresh air when you're opening Mythic Legions and even like Hasbro figures, whether it's Marvel Legends or G.I. Joe classified figures, popping them out and sort of just popping things out of the bubble cart or of the like plastic insert from the back, and just like that endless kind of creaky noise of plastic. It gets old. And these, like I said, you just pop that little cover off and dump the whole tray out effectively, and away you go. Master Versal, what's going on, my friend? I believe you say out there in the old West, is it? Yes, absolutely. Merry Christmas to you too. And Master Versal says hello there, all in the chat as well. Master Versal, you're basically next year, I think, where you are, but I'm still a couple hours technically away from Christmas. It is Christmas Eve for me, and so I'm happy to be here, hanging out, just chatting about toys, playing with toys. But yeah, this guy's great sculpt. I mean, true to sort of the anime. You can sort of see his ribs. He's got the gold. The gold looks really nice. It's very clean. The this shoulder piece has sort of a metallic look to it, which may not pick up on there. You can kind of pick up the metallic in the blue, but the black is fairly metallic as well. This isn't quite as metallic, but the gold still hits pretty good, and it's a perfect match for sort of all the other gold. He's got this little kind of ear cuff piercing thing. There's a little gold around the ankles on his boots as well. And he's got these narrow little pointy feet, which is why he doesn't want to stand up. Um, and the articulation in these is phenomenal. The articulation in this guy isn't going to be as good as in Goku, just because quite simply he's so skinny. But they do have the double jointed elbows, double jointed knees. The knees, as I said already, are kind of awkward and janky. When you bend them, you see that awkward kind of square bracket in there. But I'm okay with that. The elbows bend pretty well. Um, and it's just a fun figure. I mean, I guess for a lot of people, when you're buying a figure that sort of costs what an SH Figuarts figure costs, you tend to have maybe higher expectations. I kind of don't. To me, this might sound weird, but like to me, this is kind of the best version of Beerus that I can get, and I'm okay paying the price that SH Figure Hearts has set. Um, so call me an idiot, call me a shill, call me whatever. I'm just a big fan, and I just really wanted these figures. um, Master Versal says yes. Christmas Day here now. Yeah, you're. I think you're about 16 hours ahead of us. I think you're living in the future. I don't. That didn't make sense to me when I read it, but anyway. Saying Snoopy's Christmas first. Okay. So as far as accessories, like you get the sort of generally disdainful expression that Beerus often has in the show. For alternate expressions, if I can get this guy to stand, I will try to do that. But with these little feet, he doesn't want to stand. We get two alternate expressions, both of which are appropriate for Beerus. So we get sort of his screaming, angry head, and when he doesn't look sort of apathetic like he does there, he's either screaming or yawning because he's always tired. He battles and then he sleeps, and he sleeps for years and years and years unless something wakes him up. So it's totally appropriate. We get his tail here. He's I don't know that they ever say it, but he seems to be like a Sphinx cat, like he's a hairless cat, or at least that's how he looks. So he comes with fists out of the box. We get two other sets of hands. We get the very sort of wide open, expressive hands, or sort of battling hands, or what, I don't know what they are, what you want to call them specifically, and then holding hands. The irony, of course, is that he has nothing. There's nothing in the box that he can hold. So I'm not entirely sure what he's intended to hold with these, but it's good to get these just in case. Whether you're gonna give him, a prop to hold, or you know, whether you've got something in your SH Figuarts box that he can hold or whatever. The tail pops in nicely. It's pretty easy to get it in there. It's slightly mushroomed on the end, so now that I've got it in there, it's not coming out. It has a hinge as well as sort of a. So SH Figuarts has a lot of sort of engineering going on. Some of it's good, some of it's not as good. But you can sort of see there, maybe not. The ball itself is sort of hinged so that can move, but then the tail is also sort of on a pin, so it can rotate around, and you can rotate, not easily. This is sort of the complaint about SH Figuarts, but you can rotate that ball as well to get that hinge to sort of move in whatever direction you so desire. It tends to have that tail up a fair bit, so that's. I mean, I don't know how you can kind of set it up however you want, up, down, sideways. I'm going to put it down because I think for balance, it's going to be a little bit better. But so that is Beerus. And as I said, the articulation is pretty good. I don't have flight stance, nor the skill to sort of really pose him up fantastically as he deserves. But I can assure you, these SH Figuarts figures pose up fantastically well. On to this is the other thing with the SH Figuarts has a funny. I mean, I guess it's partly because of the content and partly because of SH Figuarts, just the way that they sort of label these. I think the official release name for this figure, and I forgot to mention this in with Beerus, but I'll mention it with this figure because I noticed it. These figures all come with instructions, like they're all in like a whole mostly Japanese, but then English as well. But instructions for like how to take apart the head and put the different faceplates on, how to take the hands off, and how to put the other hands on. I'm used to Gundam instructions, so these are sort of right in that same vein. They're kind of ridiculous and they're entirely redundant, because once you have one SH Figuarts figure, you can pretty much figure out every single other SH Figuarts figure. But yeah, here we have. Oh, but the names. So this is the SH Figuarts. I think the official title is the SH Figuarts Dragon Ball Super Saiyan God Son Goku Event Exclusive Color Edition. Like, how much of a mouthful is that? But I guess, that's down to content. They have to differentiate between, the standard Goku, the Super Saiyan Goku, the Super Saiyan God Goku, the Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan. Like, there's different sort of evolutions and sort of different levels of power as these guys go. And I think the latest version, which exists in the comic book, is like Super Saiyan, Super Saiyan Instinct God Super Saiyan or something. Like, it just gets redundant, but it's ridiculous. But it looks really cool. He's got silver hair, and if you're into that sort of thing, you know what I'm talking about. And if not, feel free to check it out. Dragon Ball, just super fun. Bunch of extra hands, bunch of extra faceplates, and I'll sort of show you how the faceplates work with the Figuarts figures. It's kind of a cool way that they do it. I'm going to assume that it works the same as every other one. I'm not going to look at the instructions because I just sort of threw them next to me. But anyway, there it is. I just dumped the whole tray out because all I had to do was pop this thing off, and I just popped this thing back on to put it back in the box. Which, again, if you watched when I did the Mythic Legions unboxing, collector friendly packaging. This stuff is too. I would say almost more collector friendly. Sam said, watching you unbox these figures makes me want to unbox and figure now. Go for it, man. I got sort of inspired by watching other people do unboxing. I don't even like watching unboxing videos, but the ones where it's like live and people are interacting, I specifically sort of referring to Toying Around doing their unboxing Thursdays. It was just one of those things where, like, people can be in conversation and they can be kind of hanging out and chatting while they're unboxing. And as I say at the end of all of these, it's always way more fun to unbox and play with your toys with friends. So, excuse me, just had to take a quick sip of my beverage. Brick said, did Beerus come out before or after the Saga comic? Hairless cats are just so unique, so this character's always stood out to me. That's a very good question. I don't know. I don't know, like, exactly sort of what year Beerus would have come out, and I know exactly what you're talking about with Saga, because Saga has a hairless cat in it as well. That's a good question. That's a really good question. But I understand what you're getting at for sure. For sure. I can't wait for Super Duper Saiyan Goku. I think Super Duper Saiyan Goku is this guy. This is the Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan Goku. So he is kind of like the Super Saiyan Goku. Not to be confused with the Super Saiyan Goku or the Super Saiyan Instinct Super Saiyan Goku. But the weird thing is, like, to me, they're all just Super Saiyan. And okay, so quick sort of aside, if you follow Dragon Ball at all, if you know what I'm talking about, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. When they give these really long, elaborate, long-winded names to sort of differentiate, I'm like, well, which hair color is that? Like, which, because that's how I differentiate them. So he starts off having black hair, um, and then sort of initially when he sort of manifests his Super Saiyan abilities, he gets like yellow hair. Um, and then this is sort of the next evolved Super Saiyan version. So he's now a Super Saiyan God. But then from here, he can actually go Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan, which means that his hair goes blue. They differentiate because of hair color. And then beyond that, the most recent one, he has black hair, but then he goes Super Saiyan Instinct Sign, I think is what they call it, and his hair stays black, but he glows. Doesn't make any sense. And then he goes from that form to the silver-haired form, which is the Super Saiyan Instinct, which is like the the most recent evolution. Although people are suggesting there's going to be another evolution, um, to the Super Saiyan form. I don't know what they're going to call that. I don't know what color his hair is going to be. Um, who knows? Your guess is as good as mine. Um, but it's just fun, man. It's just a ton of fun. It has sort of it has that silliness that a lot of Japanese anime has. I didn't even notice. I dropped this hand on the ground. I don't even know what this is for, but as soon as I realize, oh, I know what it is. I know what this hand is. So this hand. Oh wait, let me do it because it's gonna look so cool. I didn't even see that one pop out of the box. I could have lost it. So this is one of the sort of complaints about SH Figuarts. You get these pinner little joints. These can break, so do be careful with them. Do treat them gently. You just pop the hand onto that peg. Um, to get the hand exactly how you want it, sometimes you have to pop that off, adjust the angle of the ball there. Um, So right now, this hinge goes this way, but if I want the hinge to go the other way, I just pop the hand off, turn that ball, and then adjust it. But this hand, let me see if I can get him to do it, is so that he can like hold his face. I don't know. Is that anyway? That's funny. I didn't even see that hand in the pack, but that's the kind of thing that SH Figuarts does. Just weird hands, just to add to the pack. Um, I have a set. So there's a set that you can get that has a hand that sort of it looks weird in the box, and you get it, and you're like, what is this for? But then you realize there's chopsticks, and you can put the chopsticks in the hand, and he holds chopsticks perfectly. Goku is like known for like eating all the time. So they made this pack that's sort of like a restaurant. It comes with all this food and all these dishes, and he has a hand that can hold chopsticks, which is just it's just so clever. Master Versal says, so there's no limit to how super one can be. Yeah, basically but I mean, that's kind of part of the story, is that like every couple of years they got to really up the ante and be like, oh, that's not the end. He can evolve even more. Brick says, yeah, let's unbox live together at some point. Absolutely, man. I'm all for it. Um, I'm I'm probably going to do a video tomorrow. I have no content. It's just going to be sort of me hanging out on Christmas Day. I'm going to kind of open it up. I'll send you the link for sure, Breck. And if you want to come on and unbox something with me, you're more than welcome to. If not, we can do it another time for sure. What are you saying there? That fellow with the long ears, he looks interesting. He is. He's cool. He's if you don't know the story, if you don't know the lore, he is one of sort of he's sort of depicted as being one of the most. I realize my nails are really long and I should have cut them. He's depicted as being one of the most powerful characters sort of in the universe. He is the god of destruction in this universe. There are other universes as well. I won't get into that. But when he, in his sort of most recent evolved form, the Super Saiyan instinct form, I believe he's now more powerful than him. But he's still a god and he is effectively mortal. So there's a whole bunch of speculation about what that might mean and where that might go. But who knows? Saga. Oh, thank you for answering that question, Brick. Saga was released March 2012. Beerus first appeared in 2013. Hairless cats were in the zeitgeist. I guess so. I think too that like that's close enough that those could have just naturally, occurred at the same time. I don't know that one sort of led to the other. What's going on, Oz? Good to have you. Oz says, don't forget to go gently tap that like button. Oh, I pulled that up before I actually read it, only because it's only because it's Christmas. After today, just slap that like button. Yes, absolutely. Set out some milk and cookies for that like button. And Brick says, saw a little Dragon Ball Z back in the day, had fun with it, but didn't stick with it. Appreciated the Journey to the West Wukong adaptation. Do you happen to know if that adaptation continued with Super? I don't know. I don't know specifically what you're referring to. Part of it is because, like I said, I saw a lot of Dragon Ball Z in Japanese and didn't know what the heck was going on. And when I watched it again, um, it was weird because it was all different voices. So I tend to absorb a whole lot of stuff and don't retain a whole lot of stuff. Just quickly trying to catch up on the comments here, and then I'll jump back into to Goku there. Journey to the West similarities stop after the original Dragon. Okay, there you go. Yeah. Brick said, when I get back home Tuesday, I hope to do a stream. Join me. I would love to, man. If it works out, if the timing works out, absolutely. Let me know what time you're going to do it. If it's in the evening, that should be no problem at all. I say with 100% confidence before I've asked my wife, who ultimately decides whether I'm allowed to do these or not. All right, so jumping into Goku here. So as I said, this is the event exclusive color version. So they'll release a standard version, but then they'll do sort of an event exclusive as well. The standard version of this, the hair isn't translucent. This one is, which kind of looks cool. If you've seen the cartoon, if you know sort of the source material, there like a lot of people have different preferences. A lot of people want it sort of opaque with sort of a metallic paint. I like the transparent. I think it's fun. I think it's different. I think it's something that you don't see on figures, which makes it, stand out a little bit more. I think the opaque gives you some cool shades and sort of different looks depending on sort of how the light hits it. Also, when the light hits it, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to get it, but like it kind of glows a little bit more. It picks up the light a little bit better. I'll try to change the light and sort of show you what I mean. Like Yeah, that's not gonna. That's I don't know what I'm trying to do. It's not gonna do anything. Um, but yeah, it's just a fantastic looking figure. He's got the translucent. He's got his traditional orange and blue gi. See what I mean? How the knees on these just are a little bit more filled in. There's more going on back there. They're not as hollow. Like these are exceptionally hollow, whereas these have some stuff going on. And when I bend one of these knees, let me get his tail out of the way. When I bend this knee, you see that joint. When I bend this knee on Goku, there's a third piece. So you can see right there, there's like a third piece. So when I bend this, fully, it doesn't have that fully exposed joint there. You get pants pretty much the whole way. It's not perfect by any means, but it looks a heck of a lot better than Beerus's knees. That's all I'm saying. But as I said, I don't care because I like that Beerus figure a lot, and I think he looks fantastic. And I think, when you pose him up, you can kind of overlook the fact that those knees, or I can overlook the fact that those knees are a little hokey. This guy even has like these little plastic inserts under the sleeves so that the sleeves don't scuff the and he's got, so this is, I mean, this is sort of import attention to detail, right? I said that they put these little plastic pieces in between sort of moving parts. This one is above the belt. There's another one below the belt. So there's a lot of these little plastic pieces that I got to get out of the way before I could even sort of mess around with this figure. Oh, there's even more than I thought, because there's a bottom piece that was sort of underneath his torso, and there's an upper torso piece as well. And the articulation on these is fantastic, and so they move a lot, and they can move in the package because they're engineered in such a way that I've never had one that was like stiff out of the package. Like you don't need to worry about heating these ones up in the same way that you do a lot of other figures, because they're just engineered in such a way that the joints are pretty free to move right out of the box. So they have, there's, it's not exactly a butterfly joint, but when you pull these arms forward, the joint comes out almost. I don't know if you can sort of see that. You see this orange right in here, that actually pushes back into the figure. If I do it this way, you can actually see it a little bit better. So there's the arm sort of normal. You can rotate the arm all the way around. But if you want that shoulder to sort of move forward, you effectively like pull that shoulder joint out, and then you get like crazy, crazy good range of motion, where his wrists can almost touch in front without really any effort at all. This sleeve piece is it's on its own ball joint. You can kind of see it. So it moves on the arm. So when you move the arm around, you do have the opportunity to sort of adjust the angle of that sleeve. So when his arm goes up, you can adjust the sleeve to sort of match so that it always sort of sits nicely in the gi. Double jointed elbows, again, double jointed knees, as I sort of showed. He's got good articulation, plenty of movement in the ankle. So you're going to be able to get him in more or less all the poses that you want. He kicks up. As far as sort of the double jointed knee goes, can't quite kick his butt. But that's largely because there's so much pant going on there. But anyway, now, as I said, tons of different hands, and then you get the face plates as well. Goku is the type of character that I tend to show with the kind of smirk expression on when I just have them on the shelf, because to me that's Goku. He's kind of cheeky. He's kind of he's always just trying to have fun. He just wants to fight and eat and have fun. But we get 4 sets of extra hands, so we get the fist hands on the figure. We get these sort of martial arts, sort of open palm hand. We get the grappling looking hands. We get the open palm spread finger hands, as well as the sort of claw, kung fu sort of pose type hands. And then we get the faceplate. So I showed the sort of, well, that didn't work. Showed the kind of smirking faceplate there. Probably works better if I put it in this hand, actually, just because of my. So we get his smirking expression. We get clenched teeth. We get shouting. And then the expression that he comes with is just sort of the neutral expression. Now, I will show you this because this is super, super clever and very, very common on, at the very least, the SH Figuarts Dragon Ball figures. They have, this is like 3 pieces. So you get the majority of the head, which is sort of the hair. Then you typically get this front piece of hair with 2 pegs in the back, which I didn't do a very good job of showing. Then you get the faceplate. The faceplate just pops right off. Then in this case, as I said, I'm going to put the smirking expression on. So that just pops right in. And again, there's 2 pegs on the back. So that's how that pegs in. Whoop. And then it's all just sort of held in place and kind of locked in place with the hair piece that just pegs right back on, pops right back on. And there you go. So you get 4 heads without getting 4 heads. You get 4 expressive faces with sort of the parts to make sort of 1 head at a time. I don't know if it's going to show up or not, but because I have this off, I'll try to show it. So if you want the head to go back and forth, you can do that as it is there. If you wanted the head to go side to side, what you'd have to do is basically rotate this ball. And then, so you can rotate it forward and then sort of rotate this around. And now you've got the ability to sort of go side to side. It's not a perfect system. It works. It's cumbersome and sort of clumsy if you're wanting to change poses quickly. But it's effective at getting just about any pose you kind of want from the figure. Now, because it's this tiny little ball peg, this is the only difficulty, getting the ball peg sort of back on. What you can do, and what I very often do when I'm not doing this in front of a camera, is that when I'm switching face places, I'll pop the head off, I'll pop the hair, I'll pop the faceplate off, then I'll pop this headpiece back on, put the faceplate on, put the hair back on, because I can kind of line up the peg better when this faceplate isn't in the way, if that makes sense. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. You can just pop it on like this, but for the sake of what I'm talking about, I'll just do it because this is how I normally do it. So I can see where the ball joint sort of is when I have the faceplate off. You can sort of see it right in the center there, with the holes for the pegs for the hair and the face as well. But it's way easier to line this up and pop this on without the faceplate on. It looks super weird and creepy, but now I just pop the faceplate back on. Now I just pop the hair back on, which is like the weirdest sentence to say about an action figure. And there you go. So now he's just got that sort of smirking expression, which is like, if you know Dragon Ball, if you know Goku, that's like his go-to expression, that sort of smirk. And if it's not that smirk, it's like a big open smile. All the angry expressions are great for fighting, for posing him up like he's about to get into it. But at the same time, like, they just don't feel like Goku in some way, apart from, as I said, when he's fighting. So Oz says, never got a lot of Dragon Ball toys, but I do have a Nappa and Vegeta somewhere. Those are great figures. The Vegeta especially is great. I mean, a very beloved character. And there's a really great version of Vegeta. It's kind of a repaint coming out in the spring. I'm really looking forward to getting that one, despite having a couple other versions of Vegeta. There's a new Trunks coming out, which looks absolutely amazing as well. But they're just a ton of fun. Like, and if you're into Dragon Ball, these are easily the best Dragon Ball figures, bar none. I mean, there's absolutely nothing that compares. There's like the Dragon Stars line, which is like a what do they go for? I think they go for about $20 a figure, and they're fine. But when you put them next to these guys, even though I complain about these knees, like the articulation on the Dragon Star stuff is not even close. Like it doesn't even compare. The aesthetics, the design, the engineering on these is it's really it's really impressive. It's something to it's something to see in hand. It's fantastic, and it doesn't just go. It's not just Dragon Ball Z. Whether you're into Kamen Riders or they do some Star Wars stuff. I think they do other lines. It just so happens that Dragon Ball is sort of the one line from SH Figuarts that I collect. So Master Versal says, not really a line I got much into, but I did get a small Perfect Cell PVC statue figurine that yeah, I mean the statue, they do tons of statues, and they do great looking statues. SH Figure Art, no, what is so Tamashi Nation is sort of the brand. SH Figuarts is the line, but there's also the Figuart Zeros, I think, which are like relatively inexpensive statues that you can get as well. Massive Versal says Kamen Rider. I've got a buddy who buys like every Kamen Rider release, and he just absolutely loves those figures. I tried to watch the show because I wanted to sort of get into the line, get a figure or two, because there's some really cool figures in that line. But I watched the show, and honestly, it just turned me off of the figures. I couldn't do it. I could not do it. The Super Sentai, I can appreciate it for what it is, but forgive me if you're into professional wrestling. It's like professional wrestling to me. It doesn't land. I can't see through the caricature. I can't see through the very obvious sort of fake stuff. But I wish I could. And I mean there's certain Kamen Rider. There's the one on Amazon. Like some of the darker ones are pretty good, but there's still just an element to them that I just can't get into it. Oz says the ones I have are old, the old Vegeta has the colors from his first appearance in Dragon Ball Z before he gets to Earth. Oh, okay, yeah. I know the one with like the armor and the shoulder pads. I think that one has the tail as well, and I think he has the scouting device that goes over his eye. That's a great figure. That's a pretty valuable figure too, actually. I got to the line late. I don't have that one, but that's a nice one. I think they call that Scouter Vegeta because he has the scouter that goes over his eye. Master Versus says like Kamen Rider Black. Yeah, there's I haven't watched it yet, but the new one, Black Sun or whatever, looks a little more grown up, a little darker, which I think I might give it a shot when I have some time. The other Amazon one, which I can't remember what it's called. Forgive me, I can't remember, but it was a little bit darker, and I kind of got into it. I just didn't have time to sort of go too deep with it. Master Versal says his favorites are the show era riders. like Kamen Rider Black, and KRJ80s and ZO movie riders. Yeah, Black Sun. Is it any good? Mass Reversal? Would you recommend it? Is it worth a watch? If somebody's sort of on the fence about Kamen Rider, is it an interesting sort of foray into the genre, even though it's not, from what I understand, sort of typical of the genre. It's a little atypical. It's a little more adult. It's a little darker. Kamen Rider Amazons. Okay, that's what it's called. Yeah, yeah. So it's on Amazon, and it's called Kamen Rider Amazons. It's good. I enjoyed it. Oz says the orange and green variant armor is packed away. I'll have to find it. Oh, okay. I know which one you mean. I think that was a San Diego Comic-Con event exclusive color. Speaking of event exclusive colors, that was one that they did. So that was inspired by the first appearance when they're on a different planet. Yeah, I know exactly which one you're talking about, and I know exactly the scene with that one episode where he was just a different color, and it didn't really match the next time when he appears on Earth. He appears in the colors that we're sort of used to seeing him in. Master Versa says it's pretty good, but the story is different from the original. Fair enough. And as somebody that's like not, really well versed in the original, for me, I'm okay with that. I had a similar conversation with a friend about Kamen Rider Amazons, where he said, well, it's not really in the same universe, because from my understanding, at least, all the ones that came before that Amazon series are all in the same universe, and then the Amazons was a separate universe, and I think Black Sun is like its own universe. And there was people that were kind of like upset that they would have a different universe because they were meant to all be in the same. I don't know. Kamen, I've always loved the designs of those and Super Sentai, but only watched 1.5 series of about 1.5 series of each. At the end of the day, like many of my favorite toys, it's less about the entertainment for me. Yeah, fair enough. And I have to sort of limit what I buy to sort of things that I'm really passionate about, and I just absolutely love Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super, Dragon Ball GT. Give it all to me. All the movies, all the and I should say, well, I'll read this and then I'll say it. I know it's sacrilege to many, but I can barely watch Filmation Motu, for example, but I loved the characters and toys. Same for Joe's. In both cases, I prefer the mini comics more than shows. Yeah, fair enough. Absolutely. It kind of, in a lot of cases, depends on sort of how you got into the line, how you got into the product. I absolutely love vintage Joe's as a kid. I suspect, I'm not 100% certain, and my parents can't confirm because why would they care? I think I got into G.I. Joe vintage figures before I got into the cartoon, and the cartoon just sort of inspired and informed my sort of play patterns, rather than like I saw the cartoons and then I was like, I gotta go get these figures. So yeah, for me, a lot of times it's about the design of the characters, about the design of the figures. As I said with Dragon Ball, right? My first exposure was full Japanese, no subtitles, no nothing. I didn't know what was going on. It was just wild to see them, shooting, fireballs and things out of their hands and just blowing things up, and they're just crazy. Their hair changing color and they're flying and glowing and leveling up and all this kind of stuff. Just bonkers. And I enjoyed every minute of it. I was just about to say, if you want to sort of dabble with Dragon Ball, there's crunchyroll.com. I think you can watch at least some Dragon Ball, whether you can get the subtitled ones or not, I don't know. But also, if you just go on Facebook, so go on Google, look up, the name of one of the movies, and then put the title of the movie in a Facebook search, and most of those movies are on Facebook. Don't tell anybody, though. Don't tell anybody that I told you that. And they're about 45 minutes long, so you can get sort of a full story in like 45 minutes or an hour. Brick said same. Got into Joe toys before the show existed. Same with Motu. Yeah, there you go. So that's you're a few years my senior, Brick. So I get that, but like I said, I had the toys when I was like 4, 5, 6 years old, and I mean I would have been into cartoons sort of at that point, but way more of it was like me playing outside. Also in Canada, I think GI Joe was like an afternoon show in the US, but from what I remember, it was like a Saturday morning thing in Canada. So I got one episode per week. So if I got home from school, um, as a kid and I wanted to go play outside, I just grab some Joes and go and play outside. I didn't have the luxury of like on-demand cartoons or DVDs of the show or whatever. The first show that I had that sort of exposure with was Ninja Turtles. So that was sort of a game changer. Coming home every day after school and watching Ninja Turtles. Um, that sort of was an experience where the cartoon sort of informed and sort of inspired play patterns more than with some other lines did. But anyway, we're way off course. Um, these these guys are open. These guys are awesome. I absolutely love these figures. I'm really excited to get them posed up, get them on some flight stands. These guy, just for the sake of the information, if anybody cares, nobody cares, but I'm going to say it anyway. This form that he sort of is in here, this Super Saiyan God form, he uh he sort of elevates or sort of evolves into this form as a result of Beerus coming to Earth and saying, I'm going to destroy the Earth, and Goku trying to stop him. So these guys battle it out, and then from that point on in Dragon Ball Super, they're sort of their plot lines are connected. So this is a great. I was really happy to get these two figures at the same time. Really happy to get them posed up, get them in a little fight scene, a little battle scene, which I probably won't do tonight because it's Christmas Eve and I should probably go to bed before too long. But I'll probably do it. I'm not going to do it tomorrow. Who am I kidding? So tomorrow, if anybody is interested, I am going to be doing a video, probably my regular Sunday time of 2 p.m. Pacific. Um, I don't know what I'm going to do. I have no content to go through. It's just going to be hang out, talk about Christmas hauls, chat with people in the comments. Might have a couple people jump on the video with me. Should be a lot of fun, and just because it's Christmas, why not? Why stop just because it's Christmas Day? Oz says, I know a certain site where you can watch every Dragon Ball series and movie. May have to do a Discord watch party. Yeah, well, that's not bad. Is it Crunchyroll or is it the Funimation website? Like, there's a bunch of places you can watch it. That's kind of the one thing. It's weird how some things you can't watch anywhere. Like Thundercats is one where if you want to watch Thundercats, you have to like piece it together or go and buy the discs. Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super, Dragon Ball GT, all that stuff's pretty easy to access. Most of Kamen Rider series now employ speaking gimmicks, and the belts, of course, sell the toys. So a lot of the serious and darker feeling aspects you used to get has faded away as time went on. That's true. Yeah, some of the original series, like way, way back, some of those series were darker. Like the Kamen Rider compared to Super Sentai is the darker of the two. Is more mature, for sure. It's not affiliated, but all free. Oh, okay. Master of Russell says, "Yeah, I used to watch the old Gundam online there. Oh yeah, Gundam Wing. I still watch that pretty regularly. I absolutely love it. But we're getting way off course. We're about an hour, which is normally what I sort of shoot for with these videos. As I said, we are creeping ever closer to Christmas. I got to check whether Santa has arrived or not, and do my due diligence in that respect. So I will have to duck out here. As much as I would love to stay and hang out with you guys all night into the morning, but I'm gonna have to call it. I appreciate you guys hanging out. If you haven't already, please hit that like button. I would be shocked if any of you guys hadn't already subscribed and or hit that notification button. If you're showing up tonight, it's probably because you got a notification. But otherwise, thank you so much for hanging out with me. It's always a pleasure. I will chat with you guys all again very soon. I hope that you guys can all come hang out at some point tomorrow as well. And if not, that's cool. You can watch it in the replay or not. Do whatever you want. Um, But have a happy holidays, Merry Christmas, however you celebrate, whatever you celebrate. Get down with your bad selves, and we'll talk to you again very, very soon. Thanks. Have a good night. Bye bye.